Hi, everybody. Welcome to Last Chance podcast, where this week we're gonna talk about. Oh, did I say last chance? Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Last chance. So it made it sound like
I
it was
just
horrible.
realized it. It took him that long to realize how bad.
Hey, it does. It takes a little time to get up in the register ring. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Welcome everybody to Last Place podcast, where we're going to talk about your cheap players this year that didn't show up when they should have. Is that good?
I mean, essentially.
Yeah.
I
mean, I feel like we're bullying him at this point.
Hey, I'll work with that.
No, go ahead. Intro us.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Here you go, Josh.
Yeah. I might keep this in, to be honest with you.
Hello and welcome to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Ryan. I am here with my co-hosts Josh and Ethan, and we have a special guest in the house today. Literally,
Big man.
Well, not that special.
The not so much reigning champ from the 2021-2022 season.
The second overall pick in the draft this year.
Second overall pick in the draft this year. Paul Mother frickin' Traver.
Oh, but he also has my pick, so technically he's the first as well.
Does he really have one and two?
Oh my Lord. Yeah. I hope your mom won't see that.
So we are here. This is our what do we want to call it, Josh?
I know the therapy.
It's the fantasy therapy session.
So I came up with this episode.
Well, it was a joint effort, Ryan. It was you and Josh complaining.
No. This was me. This was me that came up with this because I remember thinking about it and bringing it to you guys. But at the end of last season, I had a lot of frustration with my team. A lot of I just wanted to wring some of the guys' necks and just talk crap about them and just let out my frustrations. And I wanted to talk about it, and I think this would be a great podcast to do that. So players from last year that just frustrated the crap out of you. They were inconsistent. They just bombed. They got hurt early in the season, and you were counting on them, or they just absolutely did nothing all year.
Yeah.
So this is just so all four of us can just talk about it and just talk about the players that frustrated us. And honestly, probably frustrated.
And we have a lot.
Yeah, we have 10
a lot of
players.
Our listeners.
Yeah.
Oh no,
we frustrated a lot of our listeners this year. So these are just people from our teams that we just are done with.
I wouldn't say done.
We're done with last year.
Yeah, last year.
We didn't want them on our team anymore.
Yeah.
This is a new year, though. So, Josh, let's go ahead and start out with you. What is your first one? It may not be your number one, but what is your first one you wanted to talk about?
I initially told you guys two players that I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to switch one of them. This one hurt me really bad. I really thought the breakout was here, and I ended up having to trade him mid-season because it was going that bad, and that's Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
And I guess should I still have the same hope and faith in him as I did going into last year? Or should I temper expectations and expect a wide receiver one kind of season to just not happen?
See, because there's so many question marks going into next year about the Colts.
Well, they're gonna have a new quarterback.
They're gonna have a new quarterback, but we don't know who it is.
But has there ever been a wide receiver one kind of season with a rookie quarterback?
It's true. I mean,
it can happen.
It can happen
with him. It can happen, and they got it. They've got good bones on that team. They just need a good coach.
Well,
I mean, and that's
they
where
need a good coach and a good quarterback.
Jeff Saturday, baby. Saturday season.
All I have to say is I told y'all about Saturday.
I thought Steichen was in now.
Yeah, Steichen is the
Steichen.
coach.
Steichen.
Right. Steichen's the head coach.
Our coaches episode yet, Ryan? So spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steichen is the head coach. He's
it's only national news for like the last month.
Okay, well, that's not the point.
Right, yeah, right. But yeah, going back to Michael Pittman's like the targets, you're there, you're satisfied. Everything else, you're just kind of like really happy with it. But new offense, new quarterback. No one really knows if the Colts are going to try and be a contender or not this year. Now the question is like, can I depend on Michael Pittman? Like, is he 4th round or is he 8th round this year? And what?
I don't know. I still believe.
I still believe in 4th round. I still think he's a 4th round, a solid 4th round. Because I mean, he had production. It was on and off. That's the only issue.
So okay, can I piggyback on that really quick, Ryan?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I want to interject my problems into your problems, Josh, because that's what this is all about. Yes. But Michael Pittman is literally the embodiment of my team last year. Because I would have good pieces, I would have good players. Right. And then all of a sudden, when I need somebody to drop more than 3 points, I would have a Michael Pittman week. I would have a Joe Flacco week. I would have a Tom Brady week. I would have a Travis Etienne week. And so, like, I think he can be so much better than 3 to 5 points on like an off week, but it really depends on who Indy takes. Now, if Indy trades up to 1 and they take Bryce Young, I love Michael Pittman.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Even CJ Stroud. Even if they take CJ Stroud and kind of sit where they are and just straddle the draft and take whoever isn't, or even Anthony Richardson, who's just a freak. I don't think they can screw it up, honestly. But they just need to take a QB.
Yeah, and to be honest, like I'm looking at his stats. One thing that was really missing, because he had good targets, he had good receptions, decent yardage, but 0 touchdowns between week 1 and week 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was painful.
That is a 10-week drought.
Yeah, that
where he had nothing.
But at the same time, if I remember correctly, during that time, they had no identity.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they came in,
sold, Fumble himself.
Sold, Irsay sold.
Yeah, I mean, they came in from the previous year wanting to do better. They were coming off the high of last year, or the year before. And all of a sudden, it was just like everything dropped out. The bottom dropped out. And they didn't catch up to themselves until 12, 13, right around there.
Well, yeah, they had Matt Ryan, and all he could do is turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's sad because Matt Ryan, honestly, I have a little compassion.
Oh, we lost you.
An identity either.
There we
go. He lost himself. So,
I mean, I guess my big thing, and especially he was a player we didn't really talk about much in our wide receiver Sathon episode, but when his boom percentage was 13 and then 31% bust percentage, and I felt all 31% of that.
Oh no, I did as well.
And you're just like, why can't you? It's not even so much a scoring thing. It was so much of, it's like,
you're too good for this.
You're too good for this. The stats don't show me what I'm seeing right now.
Right.
And my issue is that a top rookie quarterback and a new coach, will that fix the problems? I don't know. So I guess maybe the next thing is, if you had Michael Pittman, what would be a trade offer in Dynasty?
A first.
Ooh, really? A first still?
I'd actually go for a first. Yeah, because he is a set in stone wide receiver 1 for the Colts, at least right now. They have Alec Pierce, who's a good wide receiver 2, but I would accept a first for Michael Pittman.
Well, of course,
because you're taking
that would be the only thing to entice me to get rid of him.
Well, at the same time, you got to. I mean, like I said before, the team pretty much has a good solid roster.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can make some tweaks here and there, but for the most part, I think commanding a 1, and I'll stretch it out here. I'd say even a 2
So
for him. Why not?
if I
you
had
needed to.
Pittman, I would definitely aim for a first. If I'm getting Pittman, I don't think I'd give up more than a third, to be honest with
No,
you.
no way. No. Yeah.
Well, that's
right.
because you're a sleazy car salesman.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
give up more than a third?
Here's why.
Really?
He doesn't have a 5th-year option. He was a 2nd-round pick, and this is his contract year. So everything depends on this year.
Yeah.
But that's my sales pitch to you for get him for next year, because he's going to show out.
So
That's
he'll
what I'm
show
saying.
out.
I wouldn't.
I honestly would not have a problem giving up a first for Pittman
Right.
as soon as I see it that he balls out. And he balled out last year. And then
But
this
see,
year is just I
honestly,
don't believe the stats.
yeah, honestly, I wouldn't get rid of him. I mean, I would.
Yeah.
I'm with Ethan. I would keep him. He's one of those guys. He'll come around. They're just, again, they went through an identity change. New coach is going to bring that in, regardless of what quarterback you get, even if it is Kirk Cousins. You're gonna have an identity again, and he'll show up because he'll come back into the game plan because he is a number 1, and they're going to do good. They'll do fine.
Okay. All right. You know, I've gotten out my grapes. I feel pretty good about Michael Pittman.
You know what? Yeah, I actually feel better about Michael Pittman.
I actually feel better. Feel better about it.
I feel better.
Yeah, that too.
Ryan, who's the first person you want to talk about?
So this isn't necessarily I'm going a little off book. This isn't necessarily a single person. This is a trade I made that I'm kind of starting to second guess it, and I kind of want your guys' input. I'm not completely like freaking out, but yeah, it's given me a little bit of like, should I have made it?
Lamenting.
I'm lamenting.
It's a good book.
My trade with Tyler, which was the Javonte Williams. So I gave up I gave up Josh Jacobs and Damian Harris for Javonte Williams, a first and a third this year.
Nah.
Wait, so you got the first, right?
I got the first
and the third for this
Wait,
year.
So what pick is it?
Whoa.
It's
106, right?
I think it's the 6. Yeah. 106.
Oh,
I like
think
your
it's a good
I like
trade.
your side.
Really?
I like your side. Here's
I think
I'm
it's a good
just
trade.
I don't know. With Josh Jacobs getting
look, Josh Jacobs had a career year.
Yeah, I was just about to say he's never going to do that again. Period.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Josh.
So I don't know if he'll ever hit that mark again.
But
on
that's
top of
just-
that, it's McDaniels.
But also
The
it was
Patriot
for
system.
last year, because I do believe that if I had Josh Jacobs in my lineup last year, I probably would have at least made it a little further in the playoffs than
No one
first
would look, Ryan, let's be honest, and this is maybe the other part of the fancy therapy session. No one was going to stop the Spanish Inquisition called Philip last year.
That's true.
Until
exactly.
Well, no,
Until-
I was going to stop it, and then I didn't. So
well,
Yeah,
you
so
did
got-
it.
Yeah, you got freight trained.
Yep.
You and me both got freight trained by Phillip.
Again, I'm still hurt over it. I've never seen anyone score almost 200 points back to back.
Right.
Let alone
other than Paul,
in the
Paul did it
playoffs.
last year.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
He did 198 and then 188.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he was the first seed. It was kind of expected.
Yeah.
Coming from
Yeah.
like dude who like barely cracked 150 the entire year, and
But
then
he
all of
had
a sudden,
Jets. He had Jets, so it didn't. It was going to happen eventually.
Cam Akers scored 41 points. That's
Okay,
just God
here's
telling
the
me he
other
don't
thing,
want
though.
me to win.
Here's the other thing. Philip is so terrible at managing his team. He could have scored 200 all year long and didn't because he's that bad.
Wait. It was Josh who just said it was God telling him he wasn't going to win.
Yes.
Yeah, when Cam Akers scores 41, look, supernatural forces are at play.
I'd say it's more like planets aligning than it was God. But yeah, I mean, guys, listen, that's why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Because last year, if there was ever a time in the time that I've done fantasy football that I really wanted to do something that was not Christ-like, it was last year.
I know
I
that.
feel that.
Oh my.
Yeah, I was right there
In
with
my
you.
soul.
Yeah,
Yes.
the whole year was just so frustrating.
Yep.
Let me tell you what, the things I wanted to do to Joe Flacco the last week he was a starter. Yeah. Only unholy.
On top of that, Brady just kind of fell off a cliff.
Yeah. Wow.
No spoilers, Josh.
So glad I traded him.
Shut up, Ryan. First of all, shut your stupid face. All right.
Look.
No one asked you.
All right, but to go back on the whole Josh Jacobs, Javonte, here's there's only one problem with Javonte Williams, and that is do not expect anything this year. And largely it's because running backs take the longest time to recover from ACL. So his third year, you are essentially think of it as your next first round pick.
Yeah. And see, that's so frustrating for me because I've got Breece Hall and Javonte Williams sitting on my bench.
You also have two first. Oh, hold on. I need to check something.
But honestly,
he does have two first round picks, Josh.
I know.
I think Tyler this next year is going to lament that trade more than you do. He's going to go, oh man, I wish I had that first. Well, I wish I had whatever.
He doesn't have hardly any picks.
No, because I still have the greatest trade ever.
He has preschool Kyler on his team.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, Ryan. I mean, you have the 106, the 107, and the 202. How bad do you want Bijan?
Well, your dad's sitting right next to you, Ryan. So why don't you?
Yeah, right. That's
just
funny.
tell him you'll name your firstborn son. Give him the 202, the 106, and the 108.
Listen, as much as he's bragged about him, and he's threatened me that if I don't take him in the first pick, I
told him, I was like, if you take anybody other than Bijan, I will smack thee.
Yeah. So I've considered it, guys. I've considered letting those 2 first rounds go. And
you could get quite a haul for it.
Get him some cash money for that. But
what do you want, Paul?
No, see, that's the thing. It comes back to that. It's like if I do, man, I'm gonna regret it. So
unless you get quite a bit in return.
Oh, it would have to be it would have to be a fat load, dude. It would be like,
You want my kidney?
So Javonte Williams.
Yeah. Oh no.
The 106.
No.
And
we're talking more than that.
I'm not giving you more than one.
I know.
I
know. That's not gonna happen. Okay.
That's the point he's making, Ryan.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's fine.
I learned last year. I gave up my top 2 running backs and I suffered this year.
Yeah.
Suffered. And no.
Yeah, but not having JT didn't hurt you.
No, yeah. JT hurt Ethan more than it hurt you.
Yeah.
Oh my.
His inconsistently
okay. All right.
Terrible.
Yeah, not
Ethan, let's go ahead and do yours. What is your person that hurt you the most this year?
Me?
That caused you trauma.
My entire team, Ryan. Yeah. My entire team hurt me this year. But I'm gonna start with Tom Divorcey Brady. All right. Mr. Fox News himself.
He can't hurt you anymore, Ethan.
Yeah,
you know what?
Can't hurt you anymore.
He will.
You're right.
He'll come back. He'll hurt you somehow.
No, actually, no. Let me start off with this. I know for a fact that Ashley was looking into getting Brady, and you kept saying no.
She was offering, what was it, a 6th-round pick for him? A singular 6th-round pick. Why?
Look, you weren't making the playoffs anyway. And at this point, we all kind of knew Brady was retiring.
Nah, we didn't know for a fact.
You
and I thought
by
there
his play.
He was playing like trash anyways. So
well, he wasn't playing like trash. He just wasn't throwing touchdowns.
Granted, the other issue that Ashley was noticing was, well, there was a big one, Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Which I'll tell you what, though, you wanted him for the championship when he scored 44 points.
Yeah.
I keep telling her, my quarterback is up for sale.
I'm glad I got rid of Trey Lance.
I know, Ryan. We still need to talk about Trevor Lawrence, and that's a time for later.
Yep.
Actually, Ryan, I do want to talk to you about another player I'll bring up later.
Can I just talk about my horrible, rotten team really quick?
Yeah.
Because I'm not kidding.
Very bad, terrible day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. That can be your one, is your whole team.
I'm just going to speed through it really quick. So Tom Brady can't throw a touchdown all year, wants to kiss his children more than he wants to play football, but Giselle took them, so that sucks for him. Then we got Travis Etienne, who doesn't arrive until week 5, barely, and then all of a sudden, from week 12 to week 14, they decide, you know what, maybe he's not the guy anymore, and he averages under 10 points a game for 4 weeks straight, which just does not help me whatsoever.
Get it out, Ethan.
Then we got Austin Eckler, the only man who loves me. So shout out Austin Eckler.
Not this year.
DK Metcalf, he's got to get carted off the field to go take a pee. So that pretty much sums up his season.
He's overrated.
Then after that, we have Chris Godwin. You know what? He did fight back, but like Tom Brady, he can't catch a touchdown to save his life. So mostly mediocre performances. Then we've got Monty, who decides he's going to be a running back too all of a sudden. And then he's like, you know what? Actually, nah, I'm actually just the guy. So then he puts up running back 1 numbers when he's on my bench. And then I decide, you know what? He put up 25 points. Maybe I put him back in. Still kind of only okay. Then we have Michael Pittman, who we already talked about him.
Yeah, we already
can't catch a touchdown to save his life. QB is Mr. Turnover himself. So Michael Pittman sucks. Jason Myers, which is
did we bring up JT yet?
No, because he's on my injured reserve right now. I thought I'd give Zach Wilson a chance. That was a mistake. Let's see here. Isaiah
that
McKenzie.
One hurts me. That one legitimately hurts me.
Yeah.
Isaiah McKenzie, I thought he'd be a good flex, Josh. You know who wasn't a good flex this year?
Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah, sure wasn't. DPJ let me down until the very end of the season in week 14 and 15 when he was actually relevant with Mr. Masseuse himself. And then we've got Drake London, who started off really good. And then Marcus Mariota decided that he was the worst quarterback in the NFL. And so I had to put him on my bench all year. Hayden Hurst was my starting tight end. I feel like that's all I need to say about that.
Yeah.
We've got JT, who was hurt like all year long, but when he did play, he was good. But he played, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 good games.
7 games, okay.
Of 17. So when he played, awesome. When he didn't play, hurt really bad. Sucked hard. And then finally, we've got Antonio Gibson, who I traded and then realized, why did I trade that guy? Gets cut from big man himself. That was stupid, Paul. Picked him up, really consistent on my flex. That is my team. And you might say, oh, that doesn't sound so bad, Ethan. What was so wrong about that? Well, the thing is, all of them sucked at different times. And when they sucked, it killed me. That's my sob story. Sorry, Josh. I'm done. I tried to go as fast.
No. I'm not telling you to stop. You got to get it all out, man. Let that hate flow out of you.
I think we ought to offer the resiliency award to Ethan. Either that or give him a sedative. One of the two.
I need both, probably. See, the thing is, we live in Colorado, and I don't smoke enough pot for this.
Enough.
So, is that what you want to hear, Paul? Can we be done now?
I'm not even going to say anything. Yeah.
Ethan, I felt that entire pain on a spiritual level because the year before last year, that was me. Like nothing could go right, and
Well, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I trusted Joe Flacco. Like,
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny this year, though. Here's Josh. He's put the perfect team together and he's doing really well. And out of nowhere, he gets beat by
no,
some guy who literally woke up from a coma and was like, oh, let's do that.
well, he got
Sorry,
hit with
man.
the Rick
let me
Grimes
tell you,
action.
it almost ruined
Literally.
Christmas.
Yeah. 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 For real.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I
the
had to
playoffs
just
this
come to
year
the
were a nightmare.
I just had to face the fact that I just saw something that I don't think will be repeated ever again.
Yeah, freight train.
Yeah, again, the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, that's that too.
Alrighty, so
That's crazy.
Paul,
All right. So
I
who is
feel
your
better.
first player?
Oh man, my first player honestly was Hines. I just wasn't
Ooh.
happy
Out of
with the
everyone,
guy.
Yeah, abandoned ship is what I'm saying. I would say it.
I would say he just, well, the big thing again goes back to what I said before. Identity. I mean, there was so much identity shifts this year, whether it was a coach or a quarterback or whatever. This guy literally didn't know his butt from a hole in the ground. And I was like, what in the world? Because the Colts were running that tandem and he was picking up the slack really well. And then just like that, it was what, the fifth game he was traded? And
Yeah,
then
a
he's
little
on,
later, but yeah.
yeah, but he's on the Bills, and it's like, well, where do we do with him? Well, they let him sit in the locker room for almost the whole rest of the year.
No,
and then all of a
they let him
sudden,
get
out of
water for
nowhere,
Josh
the guy
Allen.
runs in the playoffs, runs 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
235 yards.
that's
Yeah,
that's such a big thing to talk about because we all expected him as getting the trade to Buffalo, and it's just, and it's like,
Right.
okay, they have a guy here, the swing out the backfield just to lighten the load, right? The
Right.
fact that you trade for him to not use him is mind-boggling.
Yeah, I know. Again, identity, and I think now that he's kicked off, he's gotten some kickoff returns for the Bills. I think you're going to see a shifting in their roster, and they're going to put him in there more often. He's not going to just run kickbacks.
Well, they kind of
He's
have
going
to.
to be doing
I've been
other
hearing
stuff.
James Cook is the guy.
James Cook is the guy.
Yeah.
Devin Singletary is gone. The only other person is Hines. But my bigger issue there is do Cook and Hines get it done running the ball? And to me, that always makes me think either you're gonna force Josh Allen to be the power back, which
Right.
again, I forgot which episode we talked about it, but you are one bad UCL injury away from having your 2 years completely done
Right.
as
Right.
a team.
But
Sorry.
if you do Hines the way, I mean, the guy's a versatile player. He's not a pounding back. We know that. Cook is probably more of a pounding back. He's a receiving back. So if you bring in a West Coast style or something similar where you have a pass catching back out of the backfield, and especially if you run an I or something where you have an assistant back there, it's going to help a lot. But if they go with a single back offense, I mean, I've told Ryan that the other day, Adrian Peterson, I, for the life of me, could not figure out why teams never ran with a fullback in front of him, because every time they did, the guy scored huge yardage. And I'm not saying that statistically across the board is proof, but it just seemed to fare out for him better when he had an assistant. Yeah.
Because you're not getting that initial contact isn't.
Yeah.
You meet in the hole and meeting a big defensive lineman sitting there.
Yeah. And you can't make a back. I mean, I don't think we'll ever come across another Earl Campbell that you can just pile drive people. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
like not another Earl Campbell, Eddie George kind of guy.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. So, Hines, I was just very disappointed. But now I'm hanging on to him because I know this next year he's on the Bills and they're going to light it up. They're hungry. They're mad. They're upset that they didn't get in again because of the Cincinnati Bengals. and they're going to do something about it.
Yeah, but
So
No, the Cincinnati Joes.
but there was rumor that the king was in town having a meeting with him.
At the Bills.
Yeah,
Yep.
there has been talks, and that's because
Dude, could you imagine?
And King Henry.
here's I think no matter how you slice it, Naeem Hines is just a dynasty bench at this point.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if
I don't think he's worth a lot.
I don't think he's worth a lot. And the only person, especially in our league, he'd be worth a lot for is to Tyler just to get that depth.
Yeah,
but besides that, like, best case scenario is if everyone gets hurt and he's the only guy. And even then, I would say it's RB2 best case scenario.
Of course, yeah.
So, like,
I would say flex best case scenario, but
yeah,
that's okay. You know,
yeah,
I'm still going to hang on to him because at least he's not just a roster filler. He's a veteran at this point, and I would keep him in there. Yeah, exactly. He's an insurance piece. That's it.
So
there you go.
Any other thoughts on Naeem Hines?
All right, Josh, you got another one?
I do, and let's just say it's nothing with last year. It's nothing with last year. I'm worried about the future, largely because I don't know when it ends. I don't know when the clock strikes midnight, and that's Travis Kelce.
Oh, that I should have never let that guy go. It just burns my
I don't know
eye.
why you did, Paul.
Hey,
I did because the guy was getting old.
Travis Kelce.
I mean, come on, guys. I mean, the year before, he was starting to show signs, slowing down. And then this year, he has a Hall of Fame year. And I'm like, yeah.
It's frustrating. That's fantasy, though. Like,
it is. Yeah, it is.
He could have a slow year and have troubles, and then all of a sudden, like,
and we talked about that, just the tight end position in general.
Yeah,
it could be that way. But
when we did our tight end episode, that was like
for me though, Josh. Again, it comes back to that. Unless something drastically changes, that's one of those guys you hang on to.
Like till the wheels fall off, honestly.
Well, here you go, Josh. Tony Gonzalez played at a high level until he was what, 35, 36?
That's true. I mean, he is essentially new age Tony Gonzalez.
Right.
Yeah. So I'd hold him for at least 2 or 3 more years because he's 32 going on 33.
Yeah, going on 33.
I don't know, man.
At least one more year, I would for sure.
People have been saying at least one more year for like the last 5 years for him.
But again, they won the Super Bowl. There's going to be some tweaking on the team. They know they have to establish a wide receiver that is dominant. It can't always
Juju Smith-Schuster, baby.
I don't know. After what I've seen from this from this past year, it looks like Travis Kelce's wide receiver one.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
Kadarius Toney looked really good though.
Yeah, dude. I think I'll forever be ride or die for Darius Toney.
Well, yeah, your Kadarius Toney is my Donovan Peoples-Jones. For anyone in the last episode who doesn't know who DPJ is,
get him. Get him.
So many people asked, "Who's DPJ?"
Oh,
I don't know. That's the short answer.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So
you just gotta figure it out.
So would you guys still treat Travis Kelce like if you had him as like a premium asset to where it's like, hey, you're gonna have to give up a lot to get Travis Kelce?
Yeah, 100%.
I would say he's still a premium asset.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel better about that.
He's a second round pick.
If listen, Josh, that was a big mistake last year letting him go. I should have never let him go. But
I mean, you got a decent.
Yeah, but here's your problem, Paul. Since we're in therapy right now, we're supposed to be honest with each other. You keep listening to your son, Ryan. And what is the tagline of our entire show, Paul?
Oh, come on.
I think it bears repeating, Ethan.
Let's just no. You want to bring this up? let's look at your record from last year and see who was wrong.
Okay, but don't you put that on me. All right.
Oh wait, what?
Don't you put on, because I wasn't wrong, Ryan. I'm just
you chose
early.
those players.
Yeah, and I'm early on
so
it.
you were
Watch
wrong.
what happens next season, Ryan, when I come and paddle your behind.
Yeah, we'll see.
So
We'll see.
so back to the podcast. I would say something that really surprised me this year, and I know it's not within our theme for this week, but a player that really surprised me was Damian Pierce.
Oh, Damian,
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
that was
a
such a-
great
that
one
was
because
such a
I
good
have.
football.
He showed up, and he became
that
my
was
money
whispered.
almost every week.
Yeah,
It was
that
like,
was-
okay,
I remember when there was whispers about him in training camp,
Mhm.
and they were saying that he was going to take over that backfield, that
yeah,
Rex Head was going to take the back seat, and Damian Pierce was going to take over. And I that's why I told my dad he had to draft him.
yeah.
He had to
Well,
draft
and
him.
what
Because when
was
he
so
was in that
frustrating about
position,
that, Paul?
I remember, I think I messaged.
Oh, we lost you again,
take it.
Ryan.
Lo-
But
lo-
what was
lost you again.
frustrating about that, Paul, is I was at the 204, and I knew what Alex and Michaela were gonna do.
Mhm.
So I was hoping you were gonna take a wide receiver because that's
Yeah.
what your team needed. And then I knew Alex was gonna take Algier, and I can't remember who we took with the 202, and that
Jahan
Michaela
Dotson.
was gonna take, yeah, Dotson, and then I knew Michaela was gonna take a different running back. And so I
Right.
was hoping I was gonna get Pierce at the 204, and then you snagged him. I was like, oh man, I
Yeah.
almost had a
That-
Dude,
fantastic.
because-
listen, yeah, I was going to take wide receiver. Not, I wasn't going to take, but I was looking at wide receiver. And when he showed up, I'm just one of those guys. I'm going to go with if I can get a back, two good backs, then to me, I know this is probably not everybody's cup of tea, but for me, if I have two reliable backs, I'd rather have them two than mediocre receivers all day long, because I know I can plug those guys in and they're going to get yards, they're going to get touchdowns. It's going to happen. So,
Are you concerned about the long term for Damian Pierce though? Because
yeah,
that's my next question.
They overworked him this year.
Yeah, I think they're going to bring in somebody that's more of the passing threat,
right?
And that'll take.
When you have no defense, yeah, they're going to overwork him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the coach's problem. That's why I'm glad they had to change. They've had to change, and they're getting a new philosophy, and it'll come back in.
Yeah, I mean, Lovey just didn't belong. Like, let's call it what it is.
David Coolidge definitely should have been given another year. That's for sure.
100%.
And now they got D'Amico Ryans, and it looks like it's finally happening.
I love that for them. I love D'Amico Ryans.
Him, Bobby Slowick, but it also looks like he's the perfect guy to rebuild the Texans like culture too, considering the last
Well,
2
yeah,
or 3 years.
he's young, he's passionate, he's got a vision, and he loves football. That's I'd say if you're rebuilding, those are the characteristics you want in a coach.
Yep.
Yeah.
So going to my
you
go ahead. Go ahead. I was gonna say, going to my second guy that we're talking about today.
I've got two more.
Is Rondale Moore. Now, let me just say about Rondale. The problem wasn't so much him, it was the culture in the Cardinals franchise. Something was broken and nobody wanted to address it. And this guy wasn't getting the ball, but it was still a huge disappointment for me, because I was really counting on this rookie to show up, because technically he should have, based on the fact that it was set up like a Texas Tech run and gun. And the dude never showed up. And I was like, forget it. You're going on the bench, because they never played him. And when they did, he did pretty good. So
he is. I think he is a big what if, because he's definitely going to be in that like dead zone, like the middle rounds for receivers.
Yeah,
and I think he's got a chance for like a comeback season next year.
I agree.
And
he's going to be the number 2 guy.
Yeah, because I mean, when he was in, I mean, he was making right before he got hurt. You know, his last 3 games were 24 points, 14 points, 18 points. Like, that's fairly solid numbers. I think he was getting into a rhythm because he was getting a ton of targets.
But now Kingsbury's gone, right?
Kingsbury is gone. They hired Jonathan Gannon as the head coach. Offensive coordinator is Drew Petzing.
Okay, so brand new philosophy, whole thing.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a huge change this year.
There's going to be a shift.
So
now, who is Drew Petzing?
Okay,
we'll go through that during the coaching episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the real question. My big fear, especially with this year, is that yes, he's going to have opportunities. They're not coming from Kyler, however.
Yeah. No, I don't know, man. He just, to me, I love his potential. I really do. He can change a game, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Not every week. Not take you to the Super Bowl. I just don't think he has it.
But that's the key right there, is not every week. Like if Kyler had one tagline for his career in the NFL, it would literally be not every week.
Right.
Yep. Honestly, yep. Exactly.
So I've got two to kind of round this out. One of them we've pretty much already talked about. Not in this episode, but in many previous episodes. Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts was such a disappointment this year.
Don't put that on him, though.
I love my boy. Yeah. It's not necessarily him.
Yeah, but he just didn't show up.
But Atlanta,
it's not you.
Like, I mean, if you look at, he didn't have the stats.
No, Atlanta would be saying it's not you, it's Marcus.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But still, he wasn't there for my fantasy team.
Good.
Yeah.
I hope it sucked, Ryan.
It did. It sucked. But I'm hoping that next year he'll.
Dude, I'm excited.
Normal stuff, but
I'm really excited next year.
I just got really let down by him, and it was very frustrating to watch him just show up and then pretty much sit there on the field and do this.
That would be a very interesting, when you guys do your coaching podcast, it'd be a very interesting stat to look up and find out the teams like this last year, teams or players that didn't show up all season that were frustrated about how much of their play or production was affected by inefficient coaching, terrible coaching, broken locker room.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you one thing about
there's
Pitts.
A common thread.
It wasn't Arthur Smith. Let me tell you a true statistic. Yeah, no. Guess who had the highest overthrow percentage in the NFL last year?
Who?
You already know.
Marcus Mariota.
Wow. Really?
Interesting.
Yeah. Yes, the highest overthrow, whereas on the QB, not the receiver whatsoever, Marcus Mariota.
Wow.
And here's what's crazy about that. He had the monster squad. His average height of a wide receiver was 6'4", and he still overthrew them.
Yeah, that's actually impressive.
Wow.
For all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I think what made
it was so bad it was special.
Yeah, what made things like really worse is the fact that like he was getting decent amount of targets too. Now you would have the tight end like bust like from time to time where he gets like 2 or 3 targets, but he like I'm literally looking at his game logs right now. Week 1, 7, week 2, 3, week 3, 8, week 4, 4, week 6, 3, week 7, 5. Like the targets are completely all over the place.
Yeah.
Like that would be my only fear, but then I think everything changed when Atlanta had the primetime game against Carolina. I think that's when everyone went, "Ooh, it's Marcus."
Yeah. You're right.
So like
Ritter came in, dude. I'm telling you, Ritter looks good, and Drake London and Kyle Pitts are going to be well taken care of next year.
I love the owner for Atlanta. He doesn't. He cares, and that matters.
And the big thing, I'm also like, here's the reason why I'm still confident in Kyle Pitts is that Arthur Smith is still very much a tight end oriented coach.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I have no doubt that Kyle Pitts will get used and actually get schemed up for.
Yeah.
And I do think last year was a matter of there's just not enough talent on offense. Drake London kind of has to get his sea legs in, going with the NFL season. But I really do think Pitts will be a guy next year. Like he could be the guy. And like so if I had him, I would not trade him. I would hold. And if I'm trying to get Pitts, I definitely throw in the first, to be honest, to kind of get some serious like intrigue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you definitely have.
Yep. Alrighty.
So I have one more that I have. I went not necessarily all in on this guy, but I spent quite a bit last off season acquiring this guy from this man right here, and he crapped out on me. Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah.
Done.
We told you.
Nothing.
We told you.
I know.
So many times did we tell you, Ryan?
I know.
But at the same time, the previous year,
he was great.
I mean, he was really there.
Good.
When he wasn't dead.
Yeah. So here's my issue. The reason why I thought his season was a bit more of a fool's gold, like his intro year, is because he was hurt for so long. He had two stretches of being out for 4+ games.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, the best ability, especially in a Shanahan offense, is availability. And if he can't be out there, like they're already in the natural progression of we're going to have to rely on someone else. That's why Jeff Wilson was so reliable in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's like Elijah Mitchell was just not the guy. And now he'll definitely be RB2 because that keeps him healthy.
That keeps him healthy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think he might be flex consideration only. The problem is, especially with Shanahan offenses, you don't know which running back's going off.
Yeah. That's right.
And then now you have a certainty this year because it's CMC.
Yeah.
Can I end us off on one that's going to be a little out there?
Go ahead.
So this one, we're going to have to go back to last year at the startup draft. All right. To the second round in our startup draft for Dynasty. And I chose to take Calvin Ridley over Justin Jefferson.
You hate to see
Let's talk about that, guys. Let's talk about this really quick. I don't feel good about it. I feel terrible about it.
I don't think anybody would feel good about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, man, but again, it's the old adage, hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought that Justin Jefferson
we knew he was good.
Shown up like
we knew he was good, but he was in the same position Calvin Ridley was.
Yeah.
And you took the guy who was more ready to make the leap in year one.
Yeah. But you had the perfect mix of bringing him into a team with a coach that's offensive minded, and you had all the workings of a team that didn't need to rely on him solely. Granted, they did.
Well, KOC wasn't there yet. It was still Zimmer.
I think that was the issue.
Sure. Yeah.
Because if we want to really look at the Dynasty startup drafts, I don't have my first 5 picks from the startup draft. They're all gone.
I think I don't have most of my team.
I don't. No,
you Ryan. Yeah, well, Ryan, you still have your top. Like you have 2 of your top 5 at least.
I have Jamar Chase
and Pitts,
and that's it.
Because I look, here's who I had: Dalvin Cook, AJ Brown, Antonio Gibson, Allen Robinson. Let's see. And Julio Jones.
Oh, Josh.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
So the fact that I am standing here today is a miracle.
Yeah. No
I'm just missing Nick Chubb, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, and I think my 4th round pick too.
So I mean, teams change. Like the Ridley thing, no one expected him to get suspended for a year. That's the other issue. But the fact that he's when Doug Peterson, don't get me started on Lamar. But Doug Peterson with Trevor Lawrence, I think Ridley is going to be just fine.
Yeah. I like that Jacksonville team a lot, man.
They're sneaky this year.
I really like Jacksonville. They have a really good defense, and if their offense just starts to score more points, shoot.
Yeah. I mean,
Duval, baby, Duval.
There's a couple other players that we could have talked about this week, but I feel like the answer is pretty obvious. Zeke is kind of one of them that I think everyone knows the answer. I mean, if we want to go like quarterbacks, I think the big question right now, obviously Lamar is off. Like, there's a lot of other stuff there, but it's I think with the about 8 to 10 people we have picked, I think those are like the biggest questions entering Dynasty. Do you guys think we've missed any?
No, I feel pretty good.
Yeah, I think we've covered pretty much. I mean, at least on the people on my team, those are the people I was like just really frustrated with this season. But yeah, I think I'm good.
Yeah,
I got all of my frustrations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good to now enter this off season free and clear.
I am definitely free and clear. I am. I still don't feel good about this playoff loss, but you know what? There's always next year.
I mean, I couldn't do anything about it.
Me neither. All it took was Mike Evans' 56-point game.
You want to hear a sad stat, Josh?
Yeah, sure.
Justin Herbert threw the same amount of touchdowns as Tom Brady.
Wow.
That's why they were quarterbacks 12 and 13.
Yeah.
Oh, 11 and 12. My bad. They're 11 and 12.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. I feel better though, mostly. I feel pretty good.
Oh, yeah, you got all your hate out.
Yeah. Oh, that was a lot of hate.
Hey, that was a painful year.
There's
I don't
a lot
blame
of it.
That was a painful year.
Well, and it didn't need to be that way. Like, if I could tell my team one thing before we started the year last year, it's we just don't need to walk down that road. Like, just be at least somewhat consistent. Let's
follow
the
yellow brick road. That's all you had to do.
No, exactly. Let's all do okay and not have somebody put up 3 points and then somebody different put up 3 points. And then the next week, guess what? Somebody else 3 points.
Yeah.
Let's just not.
Yeah, let's just not. But there's one thing I want to do with Paul while he's here, because I don't know the next time we'll get him. Okay. We did bust sleeper lock last year on who we thought in our league would be really good. And I think we should bring the question again. So bust sleeper lock for all the teams for all of our teams in our league next year.
Ritter is going to be a sleeper lock.
Wait, sleeper lock?
No.
Who are we?
My brain's not working.
Ooh, we got a transformer over here.
No,
got Voltron.
Wow. Okay, I got to rethink here.
So we're talking the different fantasy teams, right? Like
yes.
Brian.
Yes.
I was thinking players, and I'm like, okay,
that's okay. We all make
mistakes. I think as a player, he will do well next year.
Here.
The Last Chance podcast.
Last chance.
I think right now, man, guys, that's a hard one. Because really, how do you classify anybody as a sleeper? I don't know.
That you think might do well?
Yeah, that doesn't look like they'll do well. I could easily put Ethan in there because looking at how this season went. Because he could rebound real.
But we're not talking about last season. We're talking about going forward.
No, we're talking about this upcoming.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with you. Ethan would be a sleeper.
Yeah, he would be a sleeper, but at the same time, we would never classify him as a sleeper based on the year before. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just because he had a terrible season this year doesn't mean he's he's that guy that you never count on.
That's
So
fair.
in that traditional sense, I mean, honestly, I would say Michaela. I don't know if she's really been there yet, but I don't know if she has the roster to do it. She might. So right now, let's just go with Ethan. Sleeper lock. Okay.
All right.
What is sleeper lock?
Yeah.
I miss
The guy
Desmond
that-
Ritter, Ryan.
Sleeper lock. So there's
Okay.
3.
That's true. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. Okay.
He's old,
So,
Ryan. It's okay.
Ethan's a
All right.
sleeper. Bust. Who's challengers?
It's Philip.
Yeah, Philip.
He's a
Okay.
bust. We'll call him bust. We'll call
Yeah.
him bust.
Yeah.
I say that out of straight
say
And then-
pettiness.
Lock for.
I
lock
want you to
for
say the
win.
meaning to them, Paul.
I would say the lock for the win is going to be Josh. Josh has got a good team set up. So
I hope
Josh's
so.
team is stupid.
Yeah, I hope so.
and I still haven't seen the trophy. You know that? I
Yeah,
won.
yeah,
and
Ryan.
I don't even have a trophy. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah. You'll have it for 15 minutes before it comes over here for Ashley.
Oh no.
It's all right. I'll get to see it one day. It's driving by with a UPS truck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what it's going to be.
Yeah, Ryan. What happened to the trophy?
No comment.
It's lost in China, trying to translate from Chinese and English.
No comment.
No
No
comment
comment.
at all there. Oh man, I think that's been an
All
episode.
right. Well, yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, like and subscribe our YouTube channel and follow us on all of our social media pages at Last Place FP. That's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at Last P or
Last P.
Last
Yeah.
Place.
Oh boy. Last
Last
chance.
P.
Last P. Yes, Last Place FP.
Or
Uh,
last chance.
And I want to thank my dad for being here, getting to come into
Yes.
town and talk football for a little while.
From Deutschland.
Oh,
Thank you.
From Deutschland. Yes.
Missed you.
Yeah.
Look, can we all just
So,
take a
yeah,
vacation
so thank you.
to like NFL Germany?
Dude,
Let's do it.
you know what? I wish you guys would come over when
Yeah.
it's Super Bowl season and stay up with me from 1 o'clock in the morning until 5 watching the Super Bowl.
Look, I am a
Okay.
night. Oh,
Yeah.
my whole light died. It's time to go. I am a
All right, good
whole-
night, everybody.
Yeah, I am. I
And
am a
on
whole
that
night
note,
owl. I am a night owl. Don't
Okay.
tell me.
Night.
Yeah, I don't do very well.
Deutschland is told.
That late.
Paul, Deutschland is told.
We'll
It was good.
definitely
It was
figure
good,
it
guys.
out.
I had fun. Okay, I have one question before we close it out. Okay,
Yeah.
one question.
Well,
When is our
close to
draft?
Ryan,
Ryan,
Summer.
it will definitely. I think it'll be July.
probably
It'll-
July. Yeah.
We intentionally do it after the
It
draft.
will definitely be in 2023.
It has, guys. We have to do it in August because my July is blown up with getting back
can
to
do it in
Germany
August.
and camp and the whole thing. So
August is fine.
Well, yeah, I think we could. Yeah, no problem here.
okay,
Yeah,
or
we'll
June,
try.
June or August, one of the two.
Okay.
Ooh, June
Okay.
could be interesting.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
June will
We
be a
will let
little
our league
early,
mates
though.
know. We'll let everyone else
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Thank you again for listening
no
to
July.
Thank
the,
you.
the Last Chance, Last Place Fantasy Podcast. And we will see y'all
Last P.
next week. Ethan,
All
hit him
right.
with the line.
Never forget before you leave. Sometimes you're right. Sometimes you are Ryan.
Have a
night.
good week, everybody.